This is my first progress report reading The House of Impossible Beauties by Joseph Cassara. I am enjoying it so far, but I'm also not. I'm enjoying the story. I'm enjoying getting into it. It's another New York story. And I don't know if it's because I just came off of reading The Coldest Winter Ever and reading from Winter's perspective and Winter's like just bold and blunt voice and very New York AAVE like accent, and it's just her talking in first person. And this one is kind of like a omniscient limited in a way, I think, because it's very very close. It's almost like first person but an omniscient recounting of the story. You're almost like in these characters heads, but you're not getting that first person perspective. In a way I'm enjoying it, but at the same time I'm hating it because I feel like it gets a little, I don't think it's like super at times it feels like it's getting a little poetic, purple prosy. I don't know. I'm not loving the writing. I almost feel like it's the same issue I had with The Book Thief, where it was just like I don't like some of the writing because what just I don't know. I think I just like more blunt, precise, to the point writing where it can be poetic, but it can still be like, let's get to the point. Let's not put too much fluff around the story because then I kind of get lost in what the story is about, and I feel like I'm only getting bits and pieces, and then everything is just clouds around it because you're saying like superfluous, unnecessary things around it, and then you're moving on, and all of a sudden we're in a new scene, we're in a new thing, and then I'm confused as to how we got from this cloud of stuff here and this little scene that I barely understand happened there. And all of a sudden we're in another scene and something else is happening and we're in another cloud. And I'll say this, and I almost feel like this is why the writing is the way it is because it's like everything is kind of being told to you from memories. I think it comes from the author getting these stories from people who've lived it or people who have heard these stories before and are just like telling him these stories, and he's just fictionalizing the stories and filling in the blanks and stuff. So then when I read it back, it's coming across like ooh, like memories, and everything is just kind of being told in these clouds of like we're not really sure this is exactly what happened, but this is it's in the ballpark of what happened. Like this is kind of what happened. I'm enjoying the journey. I just read one book. I just read The Coldest Winter Ever, and payphones were a thing. And in this book, I'm reading payphones as being another thing that are a part of people's lives. And to think like, oh my gosh, y'all don't have cell phones. Like, we were just in a time like a few years ago where like we had payphones. To think the times it was just a few years ago. Not to the young people though. But either way, I'm enjoying it, and I am looking forward to getting further in it. I hope that I get acclimated to the writing because I think that's what happened to me with The Book Thief. Like, I kind of got a little bit more acclimated to the writing, so I got used to how the story is being told, and I got more into it. I enjoyed the story of The Book Thief, just like I'm enjoying this, but I'm also like, at times I hated how things were said or things were like conveyed within the story, so then I was just like, what is this? Like, because even like you can still be poetic because even with the kite runner was very, it was clear and to the point, but it was also very like, it still sounded very poetic. Like the sentences were poetic and the sentences were very clear and concise and made sense. Like, I kind of feel like this is like, okay, you lose some of the words, you can restructure some of these sentences and make this a little bit more clear. But I do not want to sound like Roger Ebert or like James Lipton right now, where it's just like, you haven't even written anything, bitch, but you out here critiquing somebody's stuff. How would you feel? Like, bitch, I'm trying to be better than what I'm seeing out in these streets, okay? That's what I'm trying to do. So I will be back being like, I don't know, like midway through the story. I really just hope that I can finish reading this before we come together to sit down and talk about this book, because it's what, like all this, like what, 371 pages. The words are kind of small for me right now, and it's just like I'm not getting as far as I want to, as fast as I want to. I am on page 59, and I probably just started reading it. It's been a week since I've been reading it, so I'm hoping that I can get like halfway through it by next week and be done with it. I'll be back.